We talk a little about the story in this one, so spoilers, I guess. Honestly, the story isn't huge, so I think you're good. Mankind's earliest stories have been about heroes, people who are placed before various challenges and trials only for them to display some sort of virtue and overcome. It's a tale as old as time, and we have more heroes now than ever before. Tragic heroes, anti-heroes, even heroes who have no idea what's going on. But I'm not concerned about what makes a hero and how that compares to a villain. That's a different script. Instead, I want to talk about something that can replace heroism and villainy altogether. Let's talk about obsession. Now we introduce the game, RunGunJumpGun, one word. It's a small indie game, not super popular, but has incredible visuals and kick-ass music. The game is super simple, so simple that there are only two buttons, and both of them are the shift key. You are a character, an astronaut of sorts, carrying a massive minigun. One button shoots forward, the other one shoots downward, propelling the character upward. The objective is simple: keep moving forward and blast or avoid any obstacle in your way. RunGunJumpGun adds a story to the collective of humanity as well. Your solar system is about to end from a supernova, the sun is about to explode. The politicians and leaders of the various planets are lying to suppress widespread panic, while secretly looking for an escape themselves. Companies are advertising snake oil products to avoid immense burns, as if the implosion of a star is nothing to sneeze at. Creatures are proselytizing the sudden emergence of a savior, a person collecting atomics as they barrel through fortresses and wilderness. When enough atomics are collected, this hero is able to jump to the next satellite, closer to everyone's doomed star, and once the hero is there, they will save us all. Alright, so that hero is supposed to be you, collecting atomics during your courses in order to get to the next level. And yet, there is a point where you run into a crowd of people, recognizing you for your brave journey, but they notice that something is off. You're not altogether there. They see you as a sort of husk, void of heroic virtues nor really any thoughts at all. In fact, you're doing this for the thrill, like an addict seeking their next high. Even closer, when the levels get crazy, you converse with a phantom, not unlike yourself, who confirms your obsession. You can't get enough. You just gotta keep going and keep collecting. You live for this stuff. Who cares about being a hero and saving the solar system? You got atomics to collect. Our stories usually need something to drive the plot forward. The hero must be guided by a virtue or manipulated by some conflict or outside force. Even villains need to have some sort of ambition, because a story without progress isn't really a story. And yet, here is something that we never see in our stories: a protagonist guided only by an obsession to move forward, nothing else. In truth, the story is really guided by the player playing the video game, and here we see something unique. Video games don't need to rely on a principle-driven story like all other mediums, which rely on virtues, conflicts, character motivations, and plot points to be interesting. Instead, video games can create worlds that are free to exist on their own, utilizing the player itself to move the story along. In doing so, we are able to explore stories that defy conventions and experiment with new ideas, all while building breadth and autonomy to make the story grand and natural. So let's unpack this. When I mention obsession, I don't mean the obsession of the characters in a story, which does exist in movies, books, and plays as a character's vice. I refer to specifically the obsession of the player. There exists a fundamental part of video games that drive players to play beyond fun story and escapism, and that driving force is the need to see the game completed. To summarize, achievement. There are unlockable titles in video games called trophies or achievements that represent this concept perfectly. Players perform a specific action or series of actions inside the game to then unlock the trophy. However, in the context of the game, achievement hunting does not exist, but obsession does, and we can define obsession as the motivation for our in-game character to, say, dive off a rooftop 100 times, or kill 500 enemies with a unique weapon, or perform a sequence of events to create a secret ending. We may think of these random actions as simply immersion-breaking trophy hunting, but therein lies a hidden power of video game storytelling. To create a narrative that exists solely within itself, to see itself done. That's the narrative of Obsession. Video games that possess this plot progression don't need virtues or vices from its characters. Hell, they don't even need conflict. The story will move along by simply having a player in the game to interact and change the world. Now we can experience a story without convention via a new lens, and see narratives of worlds without heroes or villains, without virtues or vices, free to exist all by itself. RunGunJumpGun is a perfect example. We see how a world responds to its destruction, how it comes up with excuses and searches for heroes. We too make assumptions that the protagonist is trying to save the world, when instead the protagonist is simply mirroring our own obsession to see the game complete, to collect atomics and keep moving forward. Video games afford the freedom to tell their own stories, such as a hero not trying to save the world, not displaying heroism or ambition, but instead driven by some random force, by our own obsession. Ladies and gentlemen, what we have here is a new narrative device, and the possibilities for the kinds of stories video games can tell have expanded beyond the capabilities of any other art medium. Obsession in replacement of heroism. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please be sure to subscribe for more, and share with others to help support the channel.